Attention, you are listening to KRUI in Iowa City. It's 89.7 FM on your radio, and it's krui.fm streaming online. My name is Justin Comer. I'm the host of this show. This show is called iHearIC Radio. It's about local music and local musicians and all kinds of local artistic and creative expressions. I'm joined in the studio today once again by my friend...
Attention! David Clair.
That's right.
Is who I am.
That's him. He's been in here before. Most recently, he was here 3 weeks ago, right?
That sounds right.
Yeah, I believe it was May 26th, according to my notes. And we were listening to and discussing some music that we recorded with some friends of ours, Chris Emery, Roland Hart, and Alex Taylor. This is a tradition that we've been doing for a few years now, recording a bunch of improvised music at my house around the end of each year. And we've got 2 years in the backlog now, and we are deciding what happens to these recordings now.
Yes, we're desperate in need of something to do with them. They have no titles, no releases, no homes, nobody, no family, no friends.
Mm-hmm. So primary objective is to come up with some sort of, title for what these are, put them in an order that we like, basically just conceive of what this project is. What is this going to look like as some sort of finished product? And we decided we're going to do that on the air and let everybody else in on the secrets of the craft.
And spoiler alert, there's not much to it.
Yeah, part of the goal here is to sort of demystify this kind of thing for people that may be reluctant to release their own creative projects. You just sort of do it. There's not really much of an industry or anything. Like, I don't really care about standards or anything like that,
Yes.
If you're making music and you want people to hear it, you just sort of decide what you want to do with it on your own.
Yeah.
It's your call.
Yeah, we got through the hard stuff already. We've got the music all recorded and ready for your enjoyment. It's just a matter of tying a nice little bow around it and making it nice in that regard.
Mm-hmm. And a quick summary of what we did last time. We got through 6 tracks, all recorded at the end of 2017. And let's see, we're coming up with like a larger
narrative
sort of theme of what's going on here. In general, it seems like we've got some sort of like machines versus nature thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
Robots, animals, industry versus humanity.
The Ewoks battle in Star Wars Episode 6, it's basically that, but to music.
Metal versus flesh and fur.
Yep.
Yeah, stuff like that. And in the weeks that have passed since we discussed this on air, I came up with a phrase that I like, which is industrial devolution.
Whoa.
Pretty cool, huh?
Wow, I'm woke with just those 2 words.
Which I think suggests like a collapse of industry and a reclaiming of the planet by nature. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Part of our thing is that what we did with the omnidimensional microphone double album that we released a couple years ago, David and I came up with all of the titles and like the structure of the albums. And what we sort of do is like suggest a vague narrative without being like super explicit. So basically we come up with maybe 50 to 60% of a story, right?
Yep.
Maybe less than that. I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, it's left vague.
We don't go all the way with it.
Draw their own conclusions from what's going on, but we do have a few recurring themes in the titles themselves that we go off of.
Yeah, we're not writing a book, but we are sort of making a vague outline.
And we use as a starting point kind of what the theme of the actual recording was. So in the omnidimensional microphone, we were very electronic in the instrumentation that we used and the approach, and things were very rhythmic and that sort of thing. So that turned into something of kind of a space opera story going on.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Versus the prior recording with you and Chris, which was much more acoustic.
Yeah. And actually, I'll mention now that nearly everything we've done is without lyrics, which helps us like sort of craft it the way we want to, because there's no words to really like express what's going on.
Yes.
It's all pretty abstract, so we can turn it into whatever we want.
Lyrics are very hard to improvise.
Yeah, without being pretty stupid, I guess.
Which is what we're doing.
Personally, at least, like, there's no way I can improvise like any sort of like meaningful or.
It takes some good talent to do that sort of thing. We
text.
are not beat poets. We are not rap battlers.
I'm not even that good at like having conversations.
No, I mean, your job certainly doesn't reflect that.
No, I'm terrible. Every time I am on the microphone, it's like, man.
He's actually reading from a script given to him by like several masters at the finest institutions in British Columbia.
Yeah, we've got like a writing staff at KRUI that writes all of the like DJ banter, like everything is pre-written out, including what I'm saying right now.
The coolest part is that all four walls of this recording studio are actually teleprompters. So you can't look away.
Yeah. I just laughed, and that was written on the script in front of me.
It was asterisks, chuckles,
yeah,
asterisks.
And even though this is radio, David can see that I'm pointing at the script in front of me.
Uh-huh.
Those stage directions are written into the script, even though no one will hear them.
Yes.
And what I'm saying now, and what I just said, and that too, is all written down.
This section of the radio show is titled meta, meta, ... meta.
Yeah. Back to the task at hand. Since last time we met here in the studio, I also I wrote down every track from all of our previous releases, excluding the Christmas stuff, because I feel like that's sort of its own
genre,
its own universe, and the Home Improvement album is also its own thing.
Yes.
I wrote down all of those, and I sort of categorized them based on the instrumentation, meaning if there's an electronic instrument present, if there's an acoustic instrument present, just sort of that dichotomy. And so I think I mentioned this on the previous episode as well. New Year's Eve for Cats, which was the first album in this series of things, which was just me and Chris. There's kind of a vague narrative that takes the setting of the music from an urban location out to a rural location and then up into space. Okay?
Correct. And I'm with you so far.
Yep. And then the Omnidimensional Microphone double album is mostly space focused.
Yes.
And I think that the instrumentation on those albums sort of correlates with that. On New Year's Eve for Cats, there were a lot of tracks that are only acoustic instruments, which I think, sort of in this like 3-setting system suggests like rural spaces.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then something that's like only electronic that could take place more in space. Maybe like an urban area would be a combination of both. Perhaps.
Yes. There are people that live in these urban areas.
Yeah, right. And there's also computers.
Yep, but there's also like little garden plots as well where you can like grow your 2 peppers for the year and say that you're helping the environment.
Yeah. And
that happens in a city.
It's not a hard and fast rule, but there's sort of a general correlation between the instruments present and the setting that they evoke. And then the omnidimensional microphone ones, as I said, are mostly space focused, and every single track on those releases has electronic instruments on it. Not a single track is only acoustic. Mm-hmm. Acoustic instruments are present, but they're not as prominent as New Year's Eve for Cats, and electronics are always present.
You can mostly thank me for that, for not wanting to get out from behind my keyboard that entire time. So.
Yeah, right. And I think, you can't get to space without some sort of electronic
perpetual motion machine
assistance.
Uh-huh.
You're not going to ride a horse into space. Whatever. Yeah, so that's generally like where our heads are at right now as we continue on listening to these tracks.
Yep. So in this one, there are some acoustic tracks, there are some electronic tracks. So we are going to be crashing down to Earth.
Yeah, it seems like we're coming back to the planet and talking about what's going on there, which currently seems to be some sort of conflict between industrialization and nature, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, that seems to be where we're going. Let's get into these tracks, okay? All right. Okay. So the one I'm going to play for you next, I have it code named Low, and then the S word. I used profanity because I'm cool.
The S word, of course, is saxophone.
No, well, there is a saxophone, but it's a 4-letter word.
Oh.
I'm going to replace it for radio broadcast with the word stuff. So this one's called Low Stuff. This features me on the bass clarinet, you, David, on the baritone saxophone.
Barely.
Roland Hart on the contrabass clarinet, Alex Taylor on the didgeridoo, and Chris Emery on the bass trombone. Here is Low Stuff, and then when we come back on the mics, we will discuss what we heard, and I also have a few notes from friends who are not in the room right now that we can talk about. Here's Low Stuff.
It was a clear black night, a clear
What's up, this Warren G, you know what I'm saying? I'm here giving it up for Rad because they do a lot of good things for people. Before you drink, make sure that you got somebody that can drive your butt home so you won't crash or get pulled over and get a DUI. So go ahead and follow the route and everything will be cool. And don't be no fools. Peace, baby. Warren G.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for that, Warren G. I agree with that message. We are here at iHearIC Radio discussing some music that David and I recorded with our friends a while back. The track that we just played before that Warren G PSA was codenamed Low Stuff. And I think I'll start off with notes that we have from our friends who are not in the room today.
Okay.
I have a note from Roland Hart, who played the contrabass clarinet on that track. He wrote, "Nightmarish. Sounds like the soundtrack to a horror film set in a swamp."
So, Shrek?
Yep, that's what he meant. Do you have any notes on that one that you would like to share today?
I too was thinking about swamp, actually.
Oh, cool.
But also like jungles. I wrote deep, deep jungle. And I wrote Australia is in bad shape. I mean, a lot of that was the didgeridoo.
Yeah.
I guess I tried to spend most of the time parsing out what instruments were actually happening and what
Yeah,
I
they're
was
all kind of
playing,
on
'cause-
top of each other since they're in the same range mostly.
Yeah. I mean, I remember from the sessions, that was the first time I ever picked up a baritone saxophone.
Yep.
And so I think I could only play like two different notes. So if you heard a repeating note motif or motive, that was probably me not knowing what was happening.
Yeah. David is a trumpet player and a keyboardist primarily.
Yes. Okay, so other things I wrote down. I mean, this was definitely leaning towards the acoustic end of things.
Yeah, every instrument was acoustic on that one.
Yeah, so that one I think could be like setting the scene for the acoustic setting of the story. So I almost wrote like track number 2, perhaps,
Yeah,
as far as the set list.
sure.
Or like when we introduce the world. I wrote Gregorian chants.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's the very low, like open fifth thing. And I wrote Monkey Mecca.
Monkey Mecca. Nice.
That's a fun little thing.
Yeah, we've had a cyborg thing before, which I'm actually going to bring up now. Is that all of your notes?
That is all my notes. Although I am curious if cyborgs extend only to humans, or if you had an animal cyborg, if
Well,
that is
that's-
also a cyborg.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to get into.
Oh,
I
so
think.
you know the answer to that question.
Not necessarily, but I think I would say that any sort of biological creature with some sort of technological
enhancement.
Enhancement, augmentation is what I was going to say. I think that would qualify as a cyborg.
How about like plant life?
That one, maybe not. That might be different. I don't know. Yeah, because I'm thinking more like animals and humans. But maybe a plant with a computer is also a cyborg.
A Venus flytrap surfing the web.
Yeah.
Trying to find the best flies in your area.
Yeah. Anyway, I didn't write down a lot, but I feel like I'm making connections in my brain.
I can feel like I'm going to vomit based on those low tones.
So we have very like established roles for a couple of the instruments that are on that track. So the didgeridoo is a main feature of the lead track from our previous release, Didgeridance. So the didgeridoo already has like a very prominent role in our released material.
The didgeridoo has actually become bigger than us, the musicians themselves.
Right. The didgeridoo.
We get phone calls all the time of like people wanting a autograph from the didgeridoo.
It shadows us. We live in the shadow of the didgeridoo.
That's right.
But what I find is a little more interesting in this moment. So we've kind of established the contrabass clarinet as the whale, perhaps. That's what we talked about when we were listening to Shark Tale, one of the ones we listened to last time.
Yeah.
The contrabass clarinet is our whale, maybe.
Wait a minute, hold on. Before you go any farther, there was another track that featured specifically the contrabass clarinet, but that was played through the microphone of the mini Korg, right?
Yes, and that's when we talked about cyborgs.
Yes.
So I feel like we've got an established character in the contrabass clarinet as the whale. And I think that if we go back, so we've got one track featuring the whale, the one we just listened to, which is only acoustic instruments. The contrabass clarinet also appeared in... Oh, I didn't write all of it down. No, I did. It's in the Shark Tale one, which is acoustic plus electronic.
Yep.
And it's sort of like it starts out with like really low stuff and it's sort of meditative. And then it sounds like we have some sort of like weather event occurring in the middle of the meditation, sort of like
some cosmic weather event.
Yeah.
3 question marks.
interfering with the piece that's going on. And then we also have the vocoder contra, which is also, of course, electronic and acoustic, but in fact, like working together. So I feel like we've got like something happening to a character. We have like an arc between these 3 tracks.
Are you suggesting that the whale becomes a cyborg whale after getting enhancements?
I am suggesting that.
Because that sounds like the greatest movie of all time.
Yeah, a whale bot. So I think we need to pay attention to the use of the contrabass clarinet in these tracks.
Okay.
And I don't think it comes up again in the 2017 tracks, but it might later on in the newer stuff. But yeah, I think we've got like part of our narrative structure just with those 3 tracks, with what's happening to the whale.
Okay.
So that's something to think about.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of like Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, but it's underwater.
Yeah. Wait, is Mechagodzilla just a robot, or was it like a dinosaur that was augmented?
You're putting me on the spot here for something I've never seen.
Yeah, I don't really know Godzilla.
I know they are separate entities because you can play as both in the video games.
Of course, yeah, they are different characters. They fight each other. But I just don't know if Mechagodzilla started out as a regular Godzilla.
Or if it was purely a creation in order to challenge Godzilla.
Yeah, man-made Godzilla.
I would guess it's the latter.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because then that would imply that there's more than one Godzilla. And I thought that Godzilla was one of a kind, except for in that Matthew Broderick film, which we won't speak about.
Well, yeah, there's also Gadzuki, which is like Godzilla's son or something.
Yeah, well, okay, yes.
I don't know. I don't know Godzilla lore. Anyway, let's move on. So the next track we're going to listen to, I have codenamed Chris Solo, because Chris is the only one playing on it. And he's playing the baritone saxophone. It's a pretty short one. It's only about 2 minutes long, and I have some notes from other people on this one as well. So here's Chris Solo.
Hey, look at me.
Okay, that was Chris solo. It's our friend Chris Emery playing the baritone saxophone. I have notes from others on this one. Let me pull those up real quick.
I am so jealous that he picked up the bari sax, like, not knowing how to play it either, and he made that beautiful music. Whereas when I picked it up, I was just kind of like a... I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I think maybe were you like too tight when you were trying to play it?
That's
Is that
possible.
The problem? Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, when I tried,
this was like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
so
like blowing through it, I just remember like losing my breath in like 3 seconds. That thing is a monster of a beast of a leviathan of an instrument.
Yeah, it takes some breath control. It probably doesn't require more air than like a trumpet, but it has to be directed differently.
Yeah, it seems like it like with trumpet, you can keep playing for a very long time because it's a much smaller bell and much smaller piping, so it kind of like filters better.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, covering half your mouth and only like a little bit of air is coming out, so it kind of takes longer to exhale. Whereas with that thing, it's kind of much more uncontrolled.
Mm-hmm.
Or I mean, it's like bigger, so you can just kind of go whew, and it's all gone.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful and you have to direct it.
Yeah.
Something I'm not used to.
Yeah. Here are notes from our friends. So this is our friend Michelle Guild. I think this is the first note we have from someone outside of the collective. So this is a
Groundbreaking.
monumentous occasion. Michelle said, LMAO, okay, I already feel like I'm in a cartoon where the robber is hiding from the cops and jumps behind a haystack and tries really hard to sound like barn animals so the cops keep walking past. I like this one. And then I have a note from you, actually, David, if you wouldn't mind me reading it now.
Okay.
You said, it's like I'm back on Grandma's farm, smelling the corn and feces, evading the FBI for treasonous behavior.
I personally like that idea because whoever said that is very intelligent.
Yeah, I agree. Here are some notes I wrote down. There's human voice in this one, which is not common among these tracks, so I think something to note. This is one of our more comedic tracks. It's pretty much just a joke. This is just a note of my experience here in the studio. You can hear David's laugh in part of that track. And when that played through my headphones, I was looking at David and he laughed in real life at the same time.
Wait, was this like
really
at the start or halfway through? Or
Like halfway through.
I think it might have been that little scoop that he did.
Yeah. You're laughing like in the track, and then I looked at you and you're laughing in real life.
Wow. That goes to show that our brains are maybe hardwired to follow certain behaviors.
Your sense of humor is very consistent, yeah.
Yes.
Because this was like a year and a half ago it was recorded, and you're still laughing at the same exact points.
I think that this is proof that humans do not have free will.
That's right.
We are programmed to what to think based on external stimuli and nothing else.
Yeah, that may be something to consider in our narrative.
Okay.
There's a stomping sound in the track. I think that was Ashley. While we were recording, I think she was stomping on the floor.
She was like,
above
keep it
us.
down. This is too unentertaining.
Yeah. And then I noted that this is acoustic only because there's only one instrument. But I did digitally alter it because I started like overlaying the berry with itself towards the end there in the last like 30 seconds. Which may be an important point, that it's acoustic only, but something is interfering electronically with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have some notes on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of feeling that same sort of thing that, I mean, I know we were just talking about the contra bass clarinet being like the whale character, but I was thinking of this as some sort of scary transformation or like bad science, in that it seemed to me like with this new mindset of the nature versus machines thing, that this was like scary experiments being done on a creature and causing them to, I don't know, go insane. It was very, I don't know what to say. It was very like, I kind of heard it like torture, but funny torture.
Actually, me too. Yeah, I didn't mention it, but towards the end there, when there's like the higher squealing sounds more frequently, it sounds like a torture. And now I'm thinking about cattle manipulation.
Cattle manipulation.
Cattle mutilation, not manipulation.
Okay, let's talk about cattle mutilation on the broadcast.
Well, you know what's going on there, right? Cattle mutilation, like people think it's maybe some sort of extraterrestrial activity. Do you know about this?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, a farmer finds a cow out in its field that's all just been like eviscerated and has no explanation for what happened, and it may be some external force acting on this animal. Mm-hmm. Which, yeah, feeds into our nature versus other situation.
Yeah, cows are different than whales, so that still holds with our characters.
And the berry actually kind of sounds like a cow in that track, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, some mooing.
I like that.
Yeah. You have anything else going on there?
No, I wrote Biggle intervals because he was playing a lot of leaps, which was interesting.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really have anything to do with the titles, so yeah.
More like musicological analysis.
Yes.
It's time for us to do a weather report. You ready for this?
I hold on. Let me get like mentally prepared here.
Okay.
Let's do some deep breathing together, audience. Here we go. Out through your mouth, but not on the mics though, because that might not sound good.
Okay, I'm gonna get started.
Okay.
It's currently 2:33 p.m. It's cloudy. 70 degrees Fahrenheit out there. We've got 0% chance of precipitation. Looks like overnight that comes up to like 10%. We've got 76% humidity and 7-mile-per-hour winds coming from the north. The end.
Yay.
Let's hear some more music. Okay, the next track, code name is Nice.
Yay.
And where's my instrumentation notes? Here we go. So playing on Nice, we've got Chris Emery on the trombone, David Clair on the trumpet, Alex Taylor on percussion, Roland Hart on tenor sax, and me on laptop and Casio MT68, which is my old little keyboard. So we've got mostly acoustic plus me doing electronic stuff.
Yay.
I don't really remember what this sounds like, so this will be a surprise to me. Here is Nice. Hey, if you're just tuning in, this is iHearIC Radio. I'm Justin. I'm here with David. We are discussing some music that we recorded with our friends in my garage a while back and deciding what to do with this music we recorded. It's never been heard by almost anyone prior to today, but today we're broadcasting it on the radio and opening up our process to anyone who wants to listen.
Is this ill-advised? Maybe.
Maybe, but I'm the only one giving myself any advice, so.
I can give you some advice.
Okay.
Shave more.
No. I'm trying to grow sideburns, but.
They're out of control.
Really?
I mean, your sideburns are extending like all the way to your mouth almost. That's.
But I want to look like Wolverine.
Well, you got to have those like little pointy, almost ear hair things as well.
I don't know. I just wanted to see like what I could do with this hair on this part of my face.
It's unique.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the other side of your face because I can only see the one, but it's pretty much the same.
Good.
That's
as long
good.
as
Symmetry is
even.
nice.
Yeah, as long as it's symmetrical, it's good.
Yeah.
So the track that we were just listening to, the code name is Nice, I suppose because it sounds good. Actually, yeah, I think that's like one of the more like musically enjoyable.
Yeah, it's very pleasing.
Yeah, it sounds like almost like we planned something, but I don't think we did. I have no notes from anyone else for this one. Do you want to tell me what you wrote down?
Sure. I am kind of trying to think about these recording sessions that we did, and I don't really remember how we would decide on keys. Because I don't remember like saying, "Hey, we're gonna do this one in B flat."
Oh yeah, I don't either.
Like, how did we do that? Like, there are songs from the most recent one where we actually have like chord changes going on, and we all like stick to them.
Yeah, I guess
we
we're just decent at using our ears, and I suppose like collectively we have certain tendencies that we probably know about each other at this point. So it's sort of like we know how to fit into the mold. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know how it works, but like I improvise music a lot, and it tends to like
it's like never an issue.
You sort of just like conform to each other at some point.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
We're magic people.
Mm-hmm.
And for reference, this was recorded December 28th of 2017. So that's probably why you don't remember that well.
Yeah. So other things that I put down, I put Utopia just because again it was very nice. Sort of something of an urban rural mix in there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was that kind of drum backbeat going on, so it wasn't like necessarily like super calm.
Mm-hmm.
There was a little bit of hustle and bustle, but not like to the point that it was like Times Square or anything. So, I think this one is probably more of the acoustic, as we said. I put down Melancholy Farm.
Nice.
I don't know. Since this one seemed like it was the jazziest, I was trying to think of like good jazz titles, which are very like kind of just whatever.
Yeah, and we tend to be thinking of the wind instruments as animals, so a farm I think makes sense.
Yep. You know, I had this perfect idea. What if we just made every track be a different animal, and then the whole story tells Peter and the Wolf?
Oh, we can just do that again.
Yeah.
That hasn't been done a million times yet.
Yeah, like all these tracks seem to have an oboe, so that's kind of like a bird, right? And then there's this bassoon, like a conniving fox.
We have oboe and bassoon on these tracks.
You're not here listening to them? Maybe one of your channels are turned off. It's all coming from the left channel.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Maybe these headphones are broken.
Yep.
You got any more notes there?
I wrote. I know, like I think it was the last track that I said that sounded like maybe an establishing shot of Earth, but this one kind of sounds like that too. Like there's not a lot of conflict going on with this one, except for maybe towards the end there's like a hint that something is amiss.
Yeah, it's very peaceful for the most part.
Mm-hmm. That's all I got.
Okay. I wrote down 5/4 just because it's there. That drum beat.
Oh yeah, that wasn't 5/4, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow, we're good.
And it's looping with like consistency because it's like literally a loop playing on my laptop, so it's gonna be exactly the same every single time, which sort of implies like factory automation, that kind of thing. Although eventually you can hear like I start playing the loop on top of itself out of sync, probably about halfway through or so.
Yep.
So there's some sort of like irregularity for a little bit, and then it comes back into perfect looping.
Sounds like we have some quality control issues here.
Yeah. Some sort of factory going, like the production is going off kilter, and then somebody corrects course. Yeah. Oh, by the way, this features electronic and acoustic instruments. I was actually kind of impressed at my keyboard playing on that one.
Yeah, it was really nice.
I'm not good at keyboard particularly, but I kept it going pretty well for that whole 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, you had that 151 thing going on, then it was like 159, 151.
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah. I liked it.
Yeah. And at one point I could hear other chords going on, and I had to check the instrumentation again to be like, was that just me? I was playing two things at once, because I'm not that coordinated with keyboard stuff. Back to my notes. It starts with the electronics sounding friendly and inviting, which was just me. And then the acoustics kind of fade in. Mm-hmm. And I can hear this kind of going two ways within our narrative themes. It's either the electronics are luring the acoustics into a trap,
like a siren song.
Yeah, exactly. I had the same thought. Or this is a nice synthesis of the two, which is kind of what you were saying at the end of your notes, is that it's there's maybe a hint of something sinister towards the end.
It's a siren song, but there's no catch. The sirens just want to sing.
Yeah. I mean, depending on where we put it in the order, I think it could go either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
And I'm kind of thinking there are three factions now, because we got on the cattle mutilation discussion.
Yep.
And with our settings, we have urban, rural, and space. I think there's sort of three things going on.
Yes.
So overall, we're thinking of a machines versus nature conflict, but maybe that conflict is being manipulated from above by some sort of alien force.
Okay, now, so we only have one track left from these recordings, right?
Yeah, from 2017, yes.
We don't really have much of an opener yet, but
that's true.
This one does seem kind of like the nexus of all things that the album provides, almost like an overture.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it could be at the beginning.
Maybe.
Yeah. And it's like a real it sounds like a real well thought out piece of music, I think.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a good way to draw people in listening.
Yeah, I agree.
a good start.
That's kind of where my mind is at too.
Also, I mentioned this off mic when we were talking before the show, but originally I was thinking that we should keep the 2017 and the 2018 recordings on separate releases. I'm now thinking maybe we could mix them together, but I think we'll wait to make a decision on that until we've actually heard them.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
How they sound and kind of where our heads were at in 2018 versus 2017. Maybe they were completely different places and it makes no sense.
And also the recording situation was different. I did a better job of recording the music in the most recent one. So
you went into detail last episode we did this.
Yeah, audio quality will be different as well. So I need to play a Grant spot, but I'll also let you know what's coming up next. So we have, as mentioned, one last track from the 2017 recordings. And for the sake of transparency, I will mention that we did skip one track that we recorded because I think we agree that it's not fit for release. The code name of this one is Poland. And the basic thing that's happening there is I was playing music from a video game on my Nintendo DS, and I was also playing a YouTube video of a Donald Trump speech at the same time. And without any sort of expectations as to what would happen, it was just kind of an experiment. And what came up on the DS, I have a bunch of ROMs. I can admit to software piracy on the air. And I have a flash cart. So it was actually a Game Boy Advance game. We don't need all these details. But what came up when I selected a random game, and it was this Japanese-only anime kind of thing. So the music that came up was this sort of, I don't know, medieval, courtly-sounding music with a bunch of MIDI sounds. And then that was playing under a Trump speech. And it was it's an interesting sound, but it also, the things that Trump is saying are very alarming. It's a very it's the speech he gave in Poland, which is why we called it Poland, or I called it Poland.
Yeah.
And it's a very nationalist speech. It gets into really dark territory, and the music that's playing under it is very sort of revelatory, sort of like a celebration. It's very weird. Like, it's kind of funny, kind of interesting, but like I feel like it gives off a weird impression.
Yeah, you could take the wrong impression.
Yeah, it gives off a weird idea of what are we trying to like approve of this or what? So anyway, I'm not going to play it on the radio. I'll probably never play it anywhere, but just so the listeners know, that exists. If you bug me about it, maybe I'll give it to you. Maybe not.
Yeah, and if nothing else, it doesn't fit in with the themes of what we're talking about here because there's a lot of spoken word and that sort of thing. So it probably wouldn't have fit even if we were totally behind the messages being presented.
It's weird. It was an experiment. I don't think it succeeded.
Yeah, it was completely improvisatory. So we didn't know what was going to come out of the mouths of those things.
Right. So up next, I'm going to play a track which we've codenamed Crunchy Space. This features David on the Korg Triton Extreme, which is his keyboard. It features Roland Hart on the Micro Korg, and Chris Emery and Alex Taylor on percussion, and me on my laptop. So here's a quick Grant spot, and after that you will hear Crunchy Space.
Support for KRUI is brought to you in part by the Englert Theater. The Englert highlights the talents of local performers, artists, ensembles, and also hosts regional, national, and international touring performances. The Englert is located at 221 East Washington Street. For more information, call 319-688-2653 or visit www.englert.org.
Okay, that was codenamed Crunchy Space. It's about the top of the hour, so let's mention that you're listening to KRUI in Iowa City. My name is Justin. I'm here with David.
I'm over here.
He's right over there to my left. This is iHearIC Radio. It's a show about local music. It happens almost every Sunday, but sometimes people are busy in the summer, so I'm not here every Sunday, but most Sundays.
That's okay. We can give you a break. If you're busy, we're probably busy too, because you're the busiest person.
Not anymore since I quit my job.
Of the two people here, you're probably in like the top 2 or 3 people that are busiest.
Yeah, sure. Today we're going through some music that David and I recorded with our friends, Chris, Alex, and Roland. And we are analyzing what we played. This is all improvised, of course, and we are putting together some sort of structure or brainstorming ideas for how we're going to release this music to the public.
I have an idea. What if we just don't?
Oh, yeah. What if we just walked out of this room right now and never thought about this again?
It'd be the easiest for sure.
That's true, yeah. You just play it once on the radio and then never think about it again.
Yep.
And something I forgot to mention in the first half of the show, if you have any ideas about what you are listening to, as we play it today on the radio, we're open to your ideas as well. I'd like to have them in writing so that I have a way to get in contact with you. So if we use your ideas in any way, we can discuss that between the two of us. And the best way to send ideas to us would be by email. I have iHearIC@gmail.com. You could also tweet at us or Facebook message, whatever. Just something in writing would be nice if you have any ideas about what you're listening to. Or if you're listening to the podcast later on, that's fine too. It doesn't have to be live.
Yeah, we definitely will not come to any conclusions here today. So, yeah, any ideas that you have, they're probably great. They're probably better than ours because we're on the spot here, and everyone knows that you crumble under pressure when you're on the spot. So
I don't feel too under pressure, but
seeing as how you're here every week, but someone like me.
Yeah. If we were just in private discussing this, ideas would be different because, when you're on the radio, you also have the you should be, doing something entertaining for people that might be listening. It's more of a public-facing thing, so
yes,
we may not be entirely just brainstorming ideas. We're also, doing radio, which interferes with the brain chemicals that come up with the ideas that come out of your mouth.
Mm-hmm. The waves don't mesh with the brain waves, and when waves don't mesh, it causes dissonance, and with collisions, dissonance, and that's really the heart of the music that we're bringing you today.
Sure. Yeah, so we just listened to Crunchy Space. I have some notes from our collaborator, Chris Emery, on this one. These are sort of title ideas. The first one is Meet Me at the Arcade. The second one is Where You Go When You Beat the High Score at the Arcade. And the third one is Realm Beyond the High Score. So he's very video game focused on that one.
I was in the same headspace. I think Justin wants to grab his pen from the floor so I can talk if you want. I wrote down Donkey Kong Country.
Oh, cool. That would be the second Donkey Kong reference in our releases.
That's probably why I said it. Because, there was a very much kind of a space reference throughout the whole thing, really. I wrote stately space theme. At the start of it, it was very like, I don't know, kind of like the theme song of your flight cadet or something. I wrote hurrah, and then kind of as you went in further in the song, there was definitely like some more, like there was static and that sort of thing. So I was thinking kind of like radar, like now we're actually on the mission, and maybe the public sees us at the start as being like these stately heroes, and then you actually get into the battle and things get a little more off the rails and terrifying. And at the end, there was certainly what sounded like laser shots.
Yeah,
with the acoustic drums playing all the way through. So that was a very interesting contrast, I thought, was that it was very electronic, but then you kind of had this kind of undertone of like tribal drums.
Yeah. Are you done?
I can be.
Yeah,
I am.
Let me
I can
interject.
be, but I am done. So
let me interject.
Yes.
You're making me think of Starship Troopers, just so you know.
Okay, so the drums are like the bugs.
Sure. Yeah. Can we just make this album about Starship Troopers? That's an idea.
Okay, I'd have to go back and watch that again. So there was lots of fighting bugs.
Let me pull it up.
Young people, and that one guy got his like finger cut off, right?
I don't remember the finger. I remember someone's head like getting shot.
No, I think
it was like
one
a
of the
friendly fire thing, right?
Yeah, I was thinking of. I think there was one of the training scenes where one of the sergeants like throws a arrow at someone's palm or something.
Oh, I don't.
And he was like, "If you can't dodge an arrow, you can't dodge a wrench."
That's Dodgeball. Was that movie just called Dodgeball?
Dodgeball.
That movie about Dodgeball?
An underdog story?
I don't know. I never actually watched it. I just saw.
Let's make more movie references to things we haven't seen in decades.
I never watched that
so
one.
Mecha Godzilla, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we've been doing that a lot today. Do you have more notes though?
No, I don't.
Okay. So here's what I wrote. Obviously electronic and acoustic. At the start, it's very active. The percussion is going pretty crazy. There's a lot of fast keyboard flourishes.
Yep.
And as you alluded to, the percussion and the keyboards seem to be operating on like different streams. They're sort of like they're not playing together exactly.
Yeah, there's kind of like two tempos going on at the same time.
Yeah, they're playing simultaneously, but not really with each other, which suggests some sort of clash between them.
Yes.
I don't have any notes about this, but I just wanted to remember there's noise coming from the laptop. It gets increasingly noisy as the track goes on, and then it's sort of like more like a rhythmic thing at the end.
Yep.
And the track in general kind of thins out at the end. Like it starts out very thick, like a big noise wall. It's going crazy, and then at the end, it's sort of just like quieter and just a little more sparse.
Yeah.
So what I'm seeing there is like some sort of battle, which you also referenced, and it starts out like a big battle, like a whole like two full-size armies like shooting and destroying each other, and then at the end, what you hear is like the survivors.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like Starship Troopers.
Sure.
I think.
Well, what reminded me of Starship Troopers was when you said the people think that we're like a heroic force at the beginning, and then by the end, you see it in a different light.
Yeah. Or like, is it going to be spoilers if I say like Ender's Game?
I don't know. Isn't that an old book?
It's a book that's written, so it's old.
Yeah.
It's not a new book.
The movie is like 2 years old or more now.
It's several years
Whatever.
old.
I've never read or seen it, so let's talk about it.
I've never read it either. I just saw the movie, which is, I'm told, nothing like the book, in that the book is good and the movie's not good. It just features an angry Harrison Ford.
Which is cool.
Yeah. He's definitely the life of the party
Yeah.
when he's angry.
Yeah. Okay, so that's all of the 2017 recordings. So
we did it.
Yeah, we're through that year. We've talked about it. We've written down our thoughts. We've come up with some sort of idea of what's going on.
We have titles for not really anything yet, so we'll have to revisit this at a later date.
We've got a collection of words that will eventually coalesce into a series of titles, I think.
Yes. So we'll put together a word cloud, and then we'll just take darts, and we'll throw them at the word cloud. We'll make a very
just pick the biggest
public
ones.
spectacle of this.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
We're going to do this like in a park where everyone can watch.
Yes. $10 entry fee.
Yeah. Okay, so now it's time for a little bit of a diversion because the 2018 recording session, which I can get you the exact date on that, was the 26th of December in the year 2018. So 6 months or so ago. We started out this recording session with a couple of Christmas jams. Something that we do, something that we've done the past few years is we have, our main collection of tunes, and then we also do some holiday themed stuff, which we can release on its own, separate from the more serious projects. And yeah, so we recorded those first this last time around.
Yep. Those seem to be the crowd pleasers, I guess, if we can say we have a crowd.
Those are kind of our singles.
Yeah. Those are the ones that we show to our friends, and then they say, ugh, or they say, haha, that's good.
Yeah. Last year we did a take on Christmas Shoes, which I am pretty proud of. You know that song, Christmas Shoes, about the shoes that a kid buys on Christmas?
Everybody listening to this station is nodding their heads, yes.
Yes, you all know. So, as I mentioned, there's a kind of a jump in audio quality here. I think it'll be immediately apparent with this first recording. But the code name is Christmas Collage. It features me on the laptop and keyboard. I didn't write the model down, but once this is a real release, I'll be very specific about what keyboard I was playing. It's a Roland Rogers keyboard.
Okay, so you just said it.
Well, no, it has a model number, but I don't have that written down.
How about the serial number? Is that in there too? Because there might be different versions of the same model, and so there might be subtle tweaks.
I will provide all of that information later on.
Thank you.
Yes, and then it features you on your Korg plus your Mini Moog.
It's spelled M-O-O-G, but the man's name is Robert Moog, the one who invented it.
I know that it's Moog, but when I see just Moog by itself, M-O-O-G, I can accept Moog. Like, my brain automatically knows it's pronounced Moog.
Yep.
Because I know about the guy and everything. But when I see Mini M-O-O-G, for some reason, that looks like Mini Moog. Like, it has to be.
No,
I don't
know if you've seen these, but they have those little attachments for other effects you can put on the synthesizer, and those are, I've never even heard it out loud, so the way it's spelled is Mooger Fruger.
Oh yeah, my friend Gabby has one of those.
Moger Froger, is that what it's actually called?
I don't know.
Because it wouldn't be Moger Fruger, because that's silly and inconsistent.
Right. Yeah, but Gabby has one that she uses with her bassoon.
Yeah.
I think when I've heard her say it out loud, she says Mooger Fruger, but his name is Moog, so I
don't know. I went to the factory where they make those back when I lived in Georgia. I should have asked that question. I chose not to.
So every time I see M-O-O-G, Moog, right?
Right. Yeah.
Moving on, Chris Emery is playing his micro Korg. Roland Hart is playing the contrabass clarinet. And Alex Taylor is playing the bone tempi, which is another weird keyboard instrument that we introduced in the 2018 recordings, and he's playing sleigh bells also. We don't really need to analyze this within the larger themes, I don't think. It's just a fun Christmas thing.
Yep.
We'll just try to think of some sort of title for it. So here's Christmas Collage. It's currently June 16th. Here's a Christmas song.
When is the best time to talk to your family about staying in touch during a disaster? When floodwaters reach your door? When wildfires are engulfing the edge of your neighborhood? Or an earthquake is destroying buildings? Or is the best time perhaps today? During a disaster, you may not be able to stay in touch with your family or friends as easily as you think. Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Okay, it's iHearIC Radio. It's me, Justin. Over there is David.
I'm over here.
We just listened to a Christmas collage, and now we're going to talk about it.
I have to come back down from that still.
Yeah, I love the ending of that. I'm very proud of that.
I like the whole thing.
Yeah. So we have a note here from Chris Emery, who was playing on that. I forgot what he played, but whatever. I talked about it before. I mentioned it.
Yeah.
But he suggested the title Hippoponica, which is honestly, we might as well stop talking.
I
That's
can't
great.
do any better than that. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Here's some notes that I took, however. Is this too long? I think I maybe should cut some out of like the first 2 minutes or so. It takes a little bit to get going, but
yeah, if it sounds good to cut it and it doesn't really lose anything, then
yeah, I'll consider it. I wrote just to sort of remind myself of things. So to be consistent with our previous holiday themed releases, it should have the word, or maybe it should have the word Christmas in it without a T, because I like misspelling Christmas. I wrote the word interfaith because we've got mentions of Christmas as well as a dreidel, so we've got Christian and Jewish holiday smashed together.
Yep.
On the art for all of our previous holiday releases, I have taken the eyes and mouth and nose from a photo of a human being and sort of...
Is it always the singer of the track?
No, but someone associated with it. So
okay.
One year we did
All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Yes, which is
became All Want Christmas.
Who is that?
Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey, yes. So I took her facial features and manipulated them into a weird face.
I did want to say that is another track with the word want in it.
There you go.
Just like what we just heard.
And actually the one we're going to hear next also has the word want in it, just so don't forget.
Yeah.
The word, I have here, I'll show you the word want in a rectangle right there.
That's right.
It's an important word. So I think for this one I may take Shirley Temple's face and do that.
Yeah,
perhaps.
She probably wouldn't get offended on Twitter.
Yeah,
if
I
you did
think
that.
she'd be fine. And then I also wrote down dreidel, 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 dreidel. So that may also be part of the album art or the single art, whatever,
Yeah.
the art that I post with this.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, it was either... I mean, I didn't write down too much just because the title's either going to be like something from those two tracks that Justin sampled, or Hippoponica.
Yeah, Hippoponica.
That's so good.
It's pretty great.
I wrote Holiday Lobotomy.
I like that. That's a good ring to it.
Yeah, but that's really it. I like the Christmas tracks a lot. Not only because they're fun, but because with everything else that we do, they are completely improvised from the start. Mm-hmm. Versus with the Christmas ones, we have a limitation, which is we have to include something from a predetermined Christmas track in them. So, I mean, you hear a lot all the time about creativity with limitations can often spurn things that are better than creativity that kind of come from nothing.
Yeah,
with limitations, you can do more with it
on yourself.
Yeah. And so I think that's kind of what we do with these. They're often the most fun and the most well-constructed of anything that we do.
And I will say, when we are recording these, like, there's some preparation involved because we kind of decide collectively, like, what do we want to sample here? Yeah. And then I sort of, like, go online and, like, I find, some sort of recording we want to use, and then I cut it up, and you guys are, like, listening and watching as I do it. Yep. So it takes us a little bit to put these together. So there's maybe a little bit more thought and effort involved.
Yeah, and it seems like we've done, each Christmas song we've done is a little bit different in that we've had ones that are just, like, us playing the song, but then it goes off the rails. Mm-hmm. We've had the Christmas Shoes, kind of like the whole middle section, like, had nothing to do with the song at all.
Yeah, it's just like a totally different piece.
it kind of just bookended it, and then this one was much more based on the samples and kind of finding a feel based on that.
Yeah, and it's more than one song at a time now in this one as well.
Yep, we are getting more ambitious, more confident,
more playful. There's a lot more like time manipulation of the samples as well in this one.
Yeah. Again, we had
and I did some panning stuff too.
Yeah, the panning was pretty cool.
Yeah, which is due to me improving the recording situation.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be quite as hard left and right otherwise.
Yep.
Do we want to listen to the next one then?
I do.
I do too. Okay, so this one, the code name for it is Me, I Want a Hula Hoop. Me, I Want a Hula Hoop.
Sorry, I just laughed right into the mic.
I got to pull up the notes here so I remember who played what. Okay, I was, again, on the laptop and the keyboard. You were playing percussion. Chris Emery was playing... Okay, I wrote trombone, trombone. So I don't know if there's two trombones or...
Two trombones cancel each other out, so he was actually playing nothing.
Yeah. And then Roland Hart was playing an alto sax. A special note, this is a straight alto sax, so not a curved one like you usually see.
So like a soprano sax, but longer.
Yeah, imagine a soprano sax, but it's bigger.
Yeah.
As big as an alto sax would be if it wasn't curved. As well as percussion, and then Alex Taylor is also playing percussion, so we've got a little bit of percussion on this one. Again, this is called Me, I Want a Hula Hoop, which if you are familiar with popular Christmas tunes, you probably know what we're going to sample in this one. Here we go. Oh, my notebook. Okay, so the code name there was Me, I Want a Hula Hoop, because we used a sample from the Chipmunk song for the entire almost 6 minutes there. I have a few notes. We don't have any notes from anyone else, so it's just going to be me and you.
Okay.
I wrote Ross Bagdasarian face. That's the original Dave Seville, the guy that created Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah.
I think I want to use his facial features for the album art there.
Okay.
Just a note to myself, really. And I do think that this one and the previous track should be released separately as their own sort of singles.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. And what I'm thinking right now is maybe this one towards the beginning of December, and then the one with the Hanukkah stuff in it, maybe like at the beginning of actual Hanukkah, which this year is December 22nd through the 30th.
Okay, that makes sense.
Maybe?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And I'm also, this is like separate from the actual Christmas track conversation, but I'm leaning towards we can mix up the 2017 and 2018 audio. I think based on the quality, I don't think it's like too jarring to put them together.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards if we want to, I think we shouldn't like stop ourselves from mixing them up.
Yeah.
But again, we'll listen to the actual stuff later and decide on that for sure.
Okay.
Suggestion for title is Me Want Hoop, all capital letters.
Very good.
Which is in keeping with All Want Christmas and Christmas Shoe, our previous holiday tracks.
Yes, I think that's perfect.
And also, on the last one I asked, is it too long? I think I should just leave it as is. Because All Want Christmas was 5 minutes long, and Christmas Shoe was almost 8 minutes long. So I think we can, just let them ride as they are.
Sure.
Yeah. What did you write down?
I didn't write anything down. I just drew this picture of Alvin.
That's nice. We should scan that and like make a electronic version of that.
It's okay.
Yeah, we should do something with it. It's nice.
Thanks.
So it's about 3:30. Let's do a quick weather report and then decide what comes next. Let me refresh my weather.com page here. If you are listening live at home, you can follow along. Go to weather.com, look up the weather for the zip code 52241. I live in Coralville, so I use the Coralville zip code. It's close enough to Iowa City that I believe the information I'm about to read off is still accurate. Current time is 3:33 p.m. It's cloudy still. It's still 70 degrees Fahrenheit. We've got 0% chance of precipitation, 78% humidity, and 6-mile-per-hour winds coming from the north. Very little change from 1 hour ago. I don't know if you remember the details of the weather report from 2:30, but very little has changed.
I remember the no precipitation part.
Yeah.
Because it was cloudy, so I thought that maybe there might be, but apparently there's not.
Apparently not. So we have sort of, should we keep listening to music or should we end the show?
I'm not the host. I don't want to make the final say on that.
Okay, yeah, I'm thinking we should stop here.
Okay,
that's fine. And then next time we can tackle all of the tracks from 2018.
How many of those?
There's 7.
Okay,
we did 6 last time, then it'll be 6 today and 7 for the last one.
So that seems like a good number.
That seems like it makes sense.
Sure, yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so that's all the music we're going to hear from us today anyway. I've got some notes for the show to share with everybody. Here's how I'll do this. I'm going to do a little bit of plugs, and then I'm going to ask David to plug whatever he wants, and then I'm going to do another list of plugs, okay?
Okay.
So personal plugs for me. The iHearIC concert series is on a break until August. I am working behind the scenes to book venues for that, so more information forthcoming. As I mentioned earlier, I quit my job, so I have more time to work on stuff like this. So last week we didn't have a radio show because ramp was going on in the parking ramp. And fortunately, KRUI did a live remote broadcast of the ramp concert, and I put that recording up on the iHearIC podcast feed. So if you go to iHearIC.com, any links there, you should be able to find it. Stuff coming up, I plan on recording a Patreon podcast with Jason Palomara this week.
Ooh.
He'll be in town, so we're going to record a show at my house. That'll be available to a select number of people.
Are you guys going to do anything
Wink,
musical,
wink.
or is that just an interview?
I think we're just going to talk for that one.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Who is Jason Palomara, by the way?
Oh, Jason Palomara, he's an old friend. We met here when we were both going to grad school. He's a violinist and composer, and he's very electronically and laptop inclined in his musical performances. We had a little duo called JCJP. Not had. I shouldn't talk about it in past tense, but we have a project that will last our entire lives called JCJP.
Yeah, and there are good recordings of that are out there on the band camps.
Thank you.
Yes, so
I'm pretty proud of that stuff.
that's JC/JP if you're searching for it.
That's right. Officially, it's a lightning bolt, but that doesn't always come through on all of the internet platforms.
That was very foolish of you guys because you know that
That's what I
people
like.
have trouble with AC/DC finding that.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I like. I like it to be a lightning bolt in between our initials. Back to plugs. I will be running sound for the Cedar Rapids Municipal Band all summer. So if you are interested in hearing some concert bands out in some outdoor environments, they've got a full season of concerts going on. We're already 2 weeks in, maybe just a week and a half in. It doesn't matter that much. Tonight we'll be at Beaver Park in Cedar Rapids, and on Wednesday they'll be at the History Center. You can find their full schedule at crmuniband.org. Bad news. No radio show next week. June 23rd.
Oh no!
Because I will be in Maine at a wedding.
Ah,
But good news, Chris Emery's out there, so I'm going to see him.
cool. But you said that you have that Patreon extra show that's happening this week, so
That's true.
there will be content.
That's true. We'll be recording that on Tuesday. I'll probably get it online Tuesday night or early Wednesday.
So yeah, if you like what you hear, support iHearIC
Sure.
by checking out their Patreon. You
Don't
probably
be-
already
don't
said
be
that.
too specific.
I was kind of tuning out all of your plugs, so I don't know
that's
what
fine.
you said.
I understand.
I'm tuning back in.
The regular radio show will return on June 30th at probably 3 p.m. here on KRUI. I'll either have a guest or I'll do more of the library thing that I did a couple weeks ago. You do plugs now, David. What do you want to tell people about?
I don't really have any performances upcoming, so no plugs today.
Well, you've got stuff out there on the internet that people can check out.
Yes, that stuff, like your JCJP, is out there forever.
Yeah.
I have a Bandcamp, so if you go davidclair.bandcamp.com, that's Claire, Clair, you can find little recordings that I make here and there. And I have a SoundCloud as well. You can find me there for some other little recordings, and those span like a decade of just whatever I come up with.
Mm-hmm.
So they're eclectic, they're all over the place, but they're fun, and I'm proud of my little children's. So
Absolutely. And there's a lot of stuff that we've collaborated on that's also available on my Bandcamp. So you can hear some David stuff mixed in with my stuff also.
yes.
Okay, here's some stuff going on in town. I'm going back to the big plug list now, which I abandoned for a couple weeks. Whew, here we go. Deep breath. There's a free generative writing workshop at Public Space 1 tonight at 5:30. If you're a writer, you may want to get together with some other writers and check that out. Coming up this week, the Neverwearsolids pop-up party. This is on June 20th at 10 a.m. at the Museum of Natural History, and then on June 22nd at 7:30 a.m. at the Farmers Market, and 5 p.m. at the Downtown Block Party. Again, that's on June 22nd. This is sort of an art thing. It's about clothes and weird patterns on your clothes. Sayuri, who's an artist here in town, she is running that thing. It's all about stuff she's made and stuff she will be making at the events with audience participants, that kind of thing.
Nice.
Yeah, she was involved a little bit with the art that we made for the Ramp show last week, so that's kind of how I got introduced to her. That'll be fun for all. On June 21st at Trumpet Blossom at 8:30 p.m., Rubbur, Y Kid Y, and the Twisted Roots will be playing. 2 out of 3 have appeared on this show. Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
It's a very iHearIC associated concert.
Should call it We Hear, We See.
Also on the 21st, that's this Friday, by the way, at 9 p.m. at the Yacht Club, a show that I booked. Cody James is coming down from Wisconsin, and he will be supported by local acts Joe Sorensen and Blake Shaw. This coming Saturday, June 22nd, from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. This is a long all-day thing. This is Foon Fest 2019.
Foon Fest.
Yeah, this is at the North Market Square Park. This features performances by Billy Ford, The Ends, Star Damage, Crystal City, The B-Sides, Jace Nguyen, Jordan Sellergren, Stare Into the Night, Fletcher Magellan, Arm, Spectral Snake, Zool, Techno Lincoln, and closing out the night is our friend Purchase. Also, on Saturday, the 22nd, June Poetry Slam at Merge. This is at 7 p.m. Also on the 22nd, also at Yacht Club, the Block Party After Party. If you're not aware, the downtown Iowa City area is throwing a block party next weekend. A bunch of, festival stuff going on in the streets. Once that's over, there's an after party at Yacht Club with some local bands. The local bands are Hepcat, Blist Her, Mega Babes, Scamper, and Purple Frank. On the 28th, this one's a little bit later, and this is one that I will be back from Maine in time for. 28th, 8 p.m., Trumpet Blossom. This is a show titled Cancer Constellation Celebration, featuring performances by Daryl Zero, Hadiza, 70s Bush, and Cult of Volak. VOLAC, Volak.
Yeah,
Do you know what that is?
No.
I don't know either, but I'm sure they're great. Not a band that I am familiar with yet. Okay, what else have I not mentioned? If you like what you heard today and you want to hear more stuff that I've made as part of this project, we have a website, iHearIC.com. If you scroll to the bottom of that page, you will find links to our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Patreon, Instagram, and Bandcamp pages. If you want to hear more of the radio show specifically, I do record every episode and upload it as a podcast, which you can listen to on iTunes, Google Play, Mixcloud, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. I also have this set up as an RSS feed, and I write the episode descriptions using Blogspot, so you can check out those as well for a more direct link to what I typed and uploaded.
Get engaged.
Yeah, you can check out the episode descriptions for links to artists' other pages, their Bandcamps, and all that stuff. If you hear something you like, you can find more of it that way. And if you are a person who makes stuff and you want to get in touch for any reason whatsoever, we have an email address. It's iHearIC@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you.
Don't forget, you can use that Gmail to send us notes about what you've heard in today's episode so that we can get some more ideas as to song titles or anything else that you want to mention, and then we might give you a shout out. Yeah,
we're totally open to any listener ideas if you want to share them with us. I promise we won't steal anything from you.
Yes. Justin and I gave each other a nod of approval.
Yeah.
And a wink, and our fingers were crossed.
All right, so that's the end of the show today. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for listening to KRUI in general. Keep your radio tuned there. Don't try anything else. Just stay here. You'll hear stuff you've never heard before. If
you're listening online, just keep hitting that F5 to refresh.
That's right.
I did that when I was trying to listen to the Ramp Festival on my way back from Anamosa, Iowa last weekend. Yeah. And I was in the boonies, and it did not work so well. Also, I was in a car, so it wasn't really an F5. It was more of a hitting that little refresh button.
The circle with the arrow on it.
Yeah. So I got mixed results, but I got to hear a little bit of it, and I did listen to the rest of it later on the podcast feed, and it's out there for you to listen to as well. So
right on.
Yeah.
All right, so that does it for us today. I'm going to close out with a little bit of music that we were not involved with. This is by a band. I believe it's actually a single individual, but I don't know this person, so I don't know all of what's going on. But anyway, this was released under the name Birdbath. You can find it at birdbathiowa.bandcamp.com, and this track is called I Could Have Done Things Differently, and it was released as a single. So if you like it, you can listen to it again by going to that Bandcamp. And that does it for me. Thanks again. Have a good 2 weeks. Goodbye.